Hi everyone, it's JG here with Earth 5D University, back for another teaching where you are the light, the path, and the way forward, my friends. It's all inside of you. You are the magic that you seek. You are the power. It's all inside of you, okay? So it's not out there external of you, it's all within your beautiful being. And so that's why it is so important to know thyself. That's what the esoteric teachers meant by know thyself. All right, so friends, I wanted to talk about a couple important topics today to help you start your new year in a beautiful way so that you can have different results, better results for your life. What would those better results look like? They would be more in line with your truth, more in line with who you are, more in line with freedom, joy, happiness, expansion, higher consciousness, right? So talking about new year, new experiences for you that are in line with your divinity, the highest part of your nature, right? The most beautiful part of your nature. So we're all about accepting every part of ourselves, right, friends? We don't need to exclude anything. We're looking at the good, like looking at the bad, we're looking at the ugly, we're looking at everything because those judgments aren't very real, right? None of those judgments are very real. Those are through our own human lens. And so we're learning to expand that lens so we can even see more truths, okay? More truths. What I wanted to talk about in greater detail is to understand the concept of letting go. When we step into something new, right? You guys know the old saying, one door opens and another one closes. So if you're anything like me, closing those doors, closing the doors that are, or allowing the doors to close around you that are seemingly losing energy, right? We can tell when a door is closing, right, guys? It loses energy. It no longer holds the power. I can give you an example, like for a long time, this is the first one that's coming to mind, so I'm just gonna give it to you, was I used to love the Grateful Dead, okay? And then I also loved the offshoots of the Grateful Dead after Jerry died, and like 20 years later or something, the living members still had another band going called the Wolf Brothers, and I think that's still going today, okay? They still do some touring. And I used to go and listen to this music, and had held a lot of energy for me. And so I'd go out of my way to fly to a city and see them, and it brought me great joy, etc. But eventually it stopped losing that, it stopped having the same impact on me. It stopped losing its appeal, and the energy sort of started to come out of it or fade out of it. So that's one example. Some examples are much more clear, like when a relationship is coming to an end or community is not giving you the same kind of lift. This is where discernment really comes in. But what I'm getting at here is when a door is starting to close, do not be afraid. Many times those doors are closing to give you a new opportunity to create more for yourself. If I recently had an experience where a friend of a friend, actually a friend of the family, her husband is wanting a divorce, okay? And so this came as a bit of a shock and surprise to her. And my initial feeling was, wow, I hope she allows that to happen. Sometimes it's, you want to fight for something, and sometimes it's more clear that letting it go is a gift to you, was a gift to her to create greater joy and greater expansion in her life. And you can tell by the fruit that it bears, okay? Jesus says you can tell the health of something by the fruit that it bears. If it isn't, do not be afraid. Allow those doors to close. Allow some of the things that are falling away to fall away. It's okay to let it go. It's not closing to leave you alone in a little box, not having anything for your life. It's closing to lead you to in another direction. We will be growing, we will be expanding until the minute we take our last breath. It never ends, friends. We're constantly growing, we're constantly expanding. It never ends, the growth, the learning. It's just constant growth, constant learning. if we allow it. What I mean by that is growth will constantly happen. It'll constantly be knocking on your door. And will you listen? Because the knocks will get louder and the knocks will get louder until it gets your attention. When we're creating new experiences in the new year, we're talking about letting things go, okay? We're talking about comfortably letting things go by not fighting it, by not holding on to it. I've held on to jobs. I've held on to relationships. I've held on to like people and situations far too long. I used to be the queen of holding on to things, holding on to situations that it would have been so much better to just let go of naturally, right? Before all the fruit becomes dried out and rotten, right? The fruit that it bears, new situations, the situations that are there for us, healthy situations that we're being drawn to. They have great, big, good fruits, right? That provide nutrients to you and your soul. So the first thing, friends, is entering 2025 is to let go of the things that no longer serve you. Check the things that are bearing fruit in your life. There'll be some very obvious things that aren't bearing fruit, and that's like the universe closing the door. Sometimes we'll get a very hard close of a door, and that's actually such a great gift because that hard close is hard to dismiss, right? It's like, okay, I get the message, Spirit, right? I get the message, got it, right? This is the second thing I wanted to cover on creating new experiences for 2025 is, or any year that you're entering, this will be a timeless teaching, right? Is to understand that we can change our timelines. Okay, we can change timelines. So what does that mean? It means that if we have a blueprint for our, let's say there's a blueprint for our life before we come here. Let's say that before we get here, there's a way to create probabilities for certain things to happen in our lives. And we create scenarios for those probabilities to come to existence in our lives on earth. And so before we are a material being, before we start as a tiny fetus growing into a human person in your mother's womb, right? You are an energy being and you're coming down, and what are you as this energy being wanting to create here on earth? What is it that you would like to align to? Those are probabilities, right? Each situation that you want to create on earth holds a certain probability, and some of those probabilities are much higher than others. Those are the things that you really, really want to make sure you accomplish here. And then there are lesser things that are like, that's good to have, it's going to be great to have, but it's not essential. We can change our timeline by remembering what Jesus said, is that you will do what I do and so much more. So it's in realizing your human potential. Most people would think that I'm just stuck, right? There is no timeline. I'm not even on a timeline. A lot of people have no awareness that they're on a timeline. When you realize that yes, there is a timeline and the things that you choose are going to create, it's very simple sometimes, psychically, to see what's going to happen. Not because psychics are so full of like magic, even though they might be. It's just it becomes so obvious based on choices that if you choose A, then B and C will happen. You can see that, the probability for something, right? And so when we're talking about shifting timelines, it would be helpful for you to believe that you have the power to do that you have the power to create something in your life that's much better than what you have now. And you might say, well, I'm super content with what I have now. And that's fantastic if you are. I'm sure though that we all have something in our heart that we would like a little bit different, or that we would like to develop, right? A relationship, a situation, traveling, whatever is your heart's desire. You have the power to jump timelines by realizing that you have the power to shift your life based on just that awareness itself. That you are powerful and that you can do more than what actually Jesus did. So we look at Jesus's life, And we look at it with idolization. We idolize Jesus' life, right? We worship him and idolize his life. And I wonder, is that really what he wanted? You know, did he really want us to worship him, or was he showing us as a prototype of what we are capable of as humans, and and that he even told us that we could do what is doing, and so much more. So what kind of healing can you bring? What kind of shifting can you bring to your life? Ask yourself those questions, because it's in asking those questions that you can make it happen. Just in your human being, with the power of your intention, with the power of your awareness, with the power of your intention and the power of your awareness, you change your life. So that's the second thing, friends, is realize that you can change your timeline. You can change your trajectory by knowing that you're powerful, knowing that you don't need to worship another being, but to honor who you are and the power that you hold inside. You can use your inner knowing to help you guide yourself on a path, timeline that's more suitable to you, that serves you better, that makes you feel free, that makes you feel spacious, that makes you feel peaceful and abundant. Abundance, friends. A wealth of not just money. Money's good, but not just money. A wealth of freedom, a wealth of friendship, a wealth of support, a wealth of health. Without it, it's hard to enjoy anything in life. So thank God for your health, right? Thank God for who you are right now. First thing, let it go. Things are falling away from you naturally if they're losing their energy. Say goodbye. Let it go the best way you can, with the most grace you can, okay? Second thing is understand that you can change timelines with your intention, with your awareness that you are powerful enough to do that, that you're powerful enough to focus on something different. You're not going to be born and die on a certain plane. It can change. You can change the timeline. You can change the trajectory and the probability of your life. Why? Because you're magic. You can do what Jesus did and so much more. So invite yourself to those questions. When you ask the question, you will get answers, friend. Have faith in that. The last piece of this is tying it back to this blueprint of your life. Let's say there's a blueprint of your life, the many things you wanted to accomplish here on earth before you got to earth. There's soul growth you wanted to accomplish here. There was insight and experiences you wanted to have. How can you get more in line with that? How can you get more dialed in to that blueprint of greater consciousness to better and improve your life experiences? I tell people often in my teachings and certainly in my private coaching that I don't want to do this again. I want to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish here. And so it makes me very dialed in and very aware of what I'm doing here on earth. Because it's so fleeting, friends. It can happen so quickly, life. So take a look at your blueprint. Take a look with someone you can trust. Ask yourself the questions. Understand that you can change the blueprint of your life. Understand that you can change the timing of the way things happen to you. Understand that you're not locked in to birth and death in a certain way. Understand that you are the magic. And understand when something is wanting to leave your life, you can let it go. Allow the new things to enter, friends, on that new timeline to create that new blueprint. Because, friends, consciousness is here for you. Consciousness is here for you like never before. If you need help understanding how intentionality and awareness changes your reality, feel free to hit me up for coaching. Feel free to check out my website. Feel free to check out the hundreds of readings that I have on YouTube and teachings too. And I'm certain that if you want to change, you will. Let me actually say a prayer for you guys, is what I'll do. Let me say a prayer for you guys. I'm actually going to say a prayer for greater blessings and helped you to jump that timeline and switch those timelines and live the blueprint of the highest vibration, the highest outcome of this life, to get in tune with the highest potential for you. Okay, so I just thank you, Spirit, for being here with these beautiful people who have found my channel. And I just ask you, Spirit, to please help everyone here to truly dial in to their power. Help the people here to dial into a greater timeline and to allow the doors to close that are closing in their life and allow the new doors to open. Help the people that find this message to open their hearts to their divinity, to see the power that they hold within their being to create reality with intention and awareness. And we just ask for infinite blessings for those that find themselves here, that it is an easy journey, filled now with love, light, and beautiful consciousness that serves their lives in the greater good for everyone involved. And I just ask this in body and mind and spirit throughout time and space and consciousness. It's done, it's done, it's done. And so it is. Take great care.